Hey everyone, Stephen here with a not so fresh off the couch review of the season finale of AHSOKA. And I'm saying it's a season finale even though they haven't renewed it quite yet for a second season. But the way the story ends, it has to have a second season and probably honestly a third season because this entire series is set up honestly like a trilogy, and it follows as I've been saying all season long. It follows Star Trek excuse me, Star Wars tropes throughout this entire series. It follows Star Wars tropes, and so it ended in a way that was satisfying but dissatisfying. Satisfying in as much as it ended the way it was supposed to end if we're following Star Wars, if we're following Star Wars tropes. It ended exactly the way it was supposed to end. Um, and so in that case, it's very satisfying. Um, Ahsoka forgives Sabine very easily. And again, it's set up where I honestly do believe that Ezra or somebody, I do believe that this entire series is going to end with Ezra dead and Sabine blaming Ahsoka for it and turning it over completely to the dark side, because their entire relationship is playing out exactly like Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship. And Filoni is a diehard Star Wars fanatic, and it makes sense for that his story would follow that particular story because he's a diehard fan. Now, there are a couple of things that I was not satisfied with. Lord Baylor, or Balin, he is going on this quest that apparently ties into Star Wars Rebels somehow. But you would not know that if you did not watch Star Trek Rebels. I did not watch Star Trek Rebels, and the only reason why I know that his journey connects to Star Wars Rebels is because I read it somewhere. The GP, the general audience is not going to know that, and so this dude is traipsing off into the wilderness and comes across these huge, like mountain-sized statues. But if you are a GP, who cares? How is this making me care about his journey? I don't care about those statues because there's been nothing in the series that has directed me to care about these statues. And so him going on this quest all by himself is strictly for the diehard Star Wars fans. If you are a GP, you don't understand what's going on, and I was part of that group. When he ends up where he ends up, I'm like, so what? Who cares? And unfortunately, the actor who played Lord Balin has passed away. And so if there is a season two, they're either going to have to recast the role, which I think would be appropriate in this case, or they're going to have to basically wrap it up by saying, by either not mentioning it again or saying that he died. And that neither one of those scenarios seem satisfying, because there's been such this build up to I'm leaving you now, and now I've found what I need to find, and there's something more to be said with that story. There's a lot more to be said with that story because that's the way it was set up. But again, if you're a GP, you have absolutely no clue about that. I didn't until I read about Star Wars Rebels. Then there's his Padawan, and I forget her name because her character is completely forgettable. She has no character development. She barely has lines at all in this entire show. And now she is setting herself up to be the leader of some sort of tribe. And this planet that Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra are, or Ahsoka and Sabine are now trapped on. They're like bandits. There's a few tribes of bandits out there, and now she's setting herself up to be the leader of one of those tribes of bandits. But who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who really cares? So I I just don't care about her character at all because they've given me absolutely zero reason to care about her character. Now, what I will say is I was really impressed with the fight scenes. The fight scenes were choreographed really, really well. And that we had the twist of zombie star troopers, or stormtroopers, excuse me, that we had that twist was actually interesting. But at no point did I believe Ezra, Sabine, or Ahsoka were in any mortal danger at all. And because I did not believe that any of the three of them would actually die by a zombie stormtrooper or by what's her name, who became one of the sisters. I'm horrible with these names for some reason. I can't remember them, but I at no point did I feel any mortal danger for any of them. And so even though the choreography for all of the fight scenes were really, really well done and well executed, um, it took me out of it. It's like, that's awesome the way that they're fighting. It's awesome, but I know that nobody that I care about is actually going to die. And I feel that that is a shortcoming of Star Wars, in that nobody dies. That is important. At least, I mean, Rogue One is the outlier in all of that. But it just seems classic Star Wars tropes says the main characters don't die. They might suffer a wound of some sort, like, Luke losing his hand, but nobody dies. And so I was taken out of it in that way because I knew that nobody was going to die. I'm glad Ezra got off the planet. Um, I'm really glad that he got off the planet. And I am actually glad that the big bad, whose name, again, I'm forgetting, Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, Lord Balin. That's it. Those are the only ones I remember because those are kind of the only ones that stick out. Meanwhile, Lars Mikkelsen plays him, and that name sticks out like a sore thumb because he's actually really, really good in his role. And I'm glad that he got off planet because, again, it sets it up much like it's like going from Star Wars to The Empire Strikes Back, which with the general going back home, it sets up an Empire Strikes Back kind of scenario because all of a sudden the Empire is back. So I'm glad that there's more to this story. I will say that. I am very glad that there's more to this story. And so in that sense, it ended satisfying. I was satisfied the way that it ended because it teased everything up for the second season, which will be the Empire Strikes Back season. And I am positive that season 3 will wrap everything up with the Return of the Jedi kind of a feel to it. So, because I'm satisfied with the way things ended, because it gives me something to look forward to, because it wasn't a horrible episode, I'm going to give this 3 butter pumps. Yep, 3 butter pumps. It was because again of all the dissatisfying things that happened in the episode, I can't give it anything more than 3, but it ended it in a way where I'm actually looking forward to what's happening and what's going to come next. And for that, kudos, you know, tip of the hat to them. So now I turn it over to you, my beautiful butter babies. What did you think of Ahsoka's season finale? How many butter pumps would you give it? Sound off down below. I want to hear all about it. Thank you guys so much for being on this journey with me. By the way, fresh off the couch reactions to Loki are coming beginning tonight. The season the season 2 premiere of Loki happens tonight, and fresh off the couch reaction happens right after that. And I will be joined by another special guest. Dave will not be with me for Loki, but I have another special guest that will be with me for Loki. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for going on this Ahsoka journey with me. I hope that you will continue and join me for this Loki journey. Thank you guys so much for commenting, and thank you guys for subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.